Hello everybody, Jason Basson here, and today I'm gonna show you 54 musical milestones out of my life. So I'm gonna guide you through the 54 records that were in my life. I'm now almost 54 years old, so that's one record for each year. The first record that my mother bought me, and in fact was my first record of my collection, was Organization of OMD, Orchestral Maneuvers in the Dark, with the top hit on it, of course, Enola Gay. This is the second record, Freeze Frame, from the G. Giles Band, with the big world hit Centerfold. Then we have the Dutch band, very popular, Doe Maar, Doris Day en andere stukken. In the factory where they made the t-shirts also for David Bowie, one moment they made more t-shirts of Doe Maar than David Bowie, to give an idea of their popularity. Another, this is all early 80s. Here the Rolling Stones with their live album Still Life from 1981 was that concert. Then I discovered also the Sex Pistols, Nevermind the Bollocks, a really great album, thanks to guitarist Steve Jones. Then from England, really good magazine and Real Life with singer Howard DeVoto. Really nice music. Then here from Belgium, where I live, the first album of TC Matic. Afterwards the singer Arno would go solo, but this album is fantastic, their first album. Also a very fantastic album, Simple Minds and New Gold Dream. I've played this really each day, each hour. Really one of the records I've played the most in my entire life. Then here Boy, the first record of U2, fantastic album. Fantastic, that sound, that energy. I never heard it back on the U2 albums, the later U2 albums. Also band, really great, Big Country, here with their fantastic album Steel Town. Big Country, they came from Scotland and they were always in the shadow of Simple Minds and U2, but in fact they didn't have to be in the shadow of those two groups. They were also very good and very great. I saw them once in '88, I think. Then music maker that has influenced my music and my singing in when I started singing, that's Fat Gadget. I still have all his singles, but this is his debut album, Fireside Favorites. Really good. Then a band that I also like very much is the Human League. Here is Being Boiled, a song that's really great. Also from this song is already really 80s, or even at the end of the 70s. Then also a milestone album, the debut album of the Neon Judgment, 1981-1984. Also I've played it day in, day out. Really great music. TV Treated, A Fashion Party, Too Cold to Breathe. Really nice music. Then from 242, Endless Riddance, I had one of my first CDs was this maxi with Take One on it. Take One, really nice. From 242, the godfathers of electronic body music. Also a band from Belgium, The Clinic, really nice. It's music about murder, it's music about depression, it's all very atmospheric, very nice music. The Clinic. Then we have from here, from my town where I live now, Ghent, we have a Split Second. They were at the base of the New Beat. Their track Flash was played at 33 revolutions per minute plus 8%, and that so it went slower, and that was one of the tracks that started the New Beat movement, the New Beat music. Then we have another band from the Flanders, Arbeid Adelt, their debut album, also Jonge Helden, mini album. I have found this some years ago, only for 18 euros, brewed in Belgium. This is a copy only of 500, really nice, marble effects. It has the same color as the bath here in the picture, really nice. Then another great band, the Scaps. In the beginning they were punky, afterwards they would make more rock. I liked them when they were punky with the Here's to You Gang mini album. Then here from my hometown where I was born, Aalst, not so far from Brussels, La Viebel and Albumet. They made songs a bit rebellious, Stand Up and Fight. They had also a hit with Victoria, really nice music. Check it out on YouTube, their music, really nice. Also a group to check, that I would say check them out also on YouTube, is Aroma di Amore, here with the mini album Zonder Omzien, Without Looking Back. When I say that in English, when I translate that they sing in Flemish. Then here Dave Ball, In Strict Tempo, an album that I searched for a long time, and then 2 years ago I could find this, so I was very happy. I had first the CD of it, and so I have the CD I don't have anymore. Then another nice album, Cabaret Voltaire and Microphonies. The Flower Potmen, Josephine to Josephine, a song that I liked a lot. I heard it on the New Wave radio, and then finally I could find it after years. You're So Mean is the title, The Flower Pot Men. They made also another track, another maxi that's known. Then Alien Sex Fiends, a group I like, Ignore the Machine, the maxi, really great record, also for mixing as a DJ. Then we have the album La Folie of the Stranglers. The Stranglers with Golden Brown, you can find Golden Brown on this record. Then also a record I played a lot, the Bollock Brothers and The Last Supper. It's a double maxi and really nice music. There is the song The Last Supper, but you have also the other tracks that are very known horror movies, you can find also on this album. Then also a milestone in my record collection, in my music listening, that's the double live album of Siouxsie and the Banshees, Nocturne. She does on this album also a cover of Dear Prudence of the Beatles, really wonderful, better than the Beatles original. and what a voice. Really wonderful. Siouxsie and the Banshees. I saw them live on the Seaside Festival back in 1985. Fantastic concert. Then we go on with this group, and all this music I was listening to in the mid 80s, around 84, 85. The Virgin Prunes, If I Die, I Die. Really a wonderful milestone record in my life. Really wonderful record. The Virgin Prunes. Wonderful music also. They had two singers. They have the real great song, The Walls of Jericho. And then, in the new wave, I bought first some maxis of the Sisters of Mercy, and then finally there was their full album, First and Last and Always, and for me my favorite album of the 80s. Another record that was in the same period, that was this one, also very good. Also one of my favorite records in the 80s, The Cult and Love. Very new wave orientated. Afterwards the Cult would become more rock, hard rock. But here on this album they sound new wave. And then, really also a milestone record, The Cure live in 1984, fantastic album, an album that should be in your collection if you don't have yet bought this record. The Cure live, it's of course a fantastic version of Forests you can find. Then a band with really great albums. I have their first albums, Porcupine. I have Heaven Up Here. The four first albums of Echo and the Bunnymen. This was their fourth one, Ocean Rain. Really wonderful album. Also in the new wave, Jesus and Mary Chain, the Jesus and Mary Chain, and Psycho Candy, the album, heavy but really romantic songs. They could do it, romantic songs with over fuzzy guitars. Then Executive Slacks, excuse me, Executive Slacks and Fire and Ice. Really nice album. They have really nice tracks. White Fields is one of them on this album. Really nice. One of my favorite bands also from the 80s. Then a really particular cover. This is New Order. And this is an album, a record of New Order from 1981. Everything's Gone Green. Really wonderful. Also the other tracks are really great. Mesh and Cries and Whispers. Here New Order sounded like Joy Division was gone, was finished, and then you hear the music of Joy Division is going on with New Order. It's normal because the bands, the guitarist, the drummer were the members of Joy Division, the bass player, so it's normal. They sounded in the beginning really as Joy Division, but without Ian Curtis, of course. And this is Joy Division. My favorite maxi of Joy Division, that's Atmosphere. On the B side we find She's Lost Control. A really wonderful, one of my favorite Joy Division tracks. Then I have here The Doors, also a band. It's a milestone in my life when I discovered the music of Jim Morrison and his members, the Doors, really wonderful. On this album, absolutely live. You have Jim Morrison talking, he is also saying a poem, he is singing, really a complete album, this absolutely live album. And then a record that blew me away the first time I laid it on my record player, The Velvet Underground and White Light, White Heat. Really great sounding track. Then a band, really nice. I heard them the first time on the New Wave parties with, of course, their cult track No Tears. Check it out on YouTube, No Tears, really nice track of Tuxedo Moon. And this album is some years later. On this album, really nice tracks, St. John and In a Matter of Speaking. I get goosebumps when I hear those tracks. Tuxedo Moon. I have another album of Tuxedo Moon, also really great music. Check them out on YouTube. And I recommend this album with A Matter of Speaking and St. John on it, Holy Wars of Tuxedo Moon. And then another album, one of my favorite albums of my whole collection, so that says a lot, The Cramps and mini live album Smell of Female. And each track has power, has a really nice cover also at the back. You have The Most Exalted Potentate of Love, Call of the Wicked, and Psychotic Reaction is also on this album. At that time, Kid Congo Powers was on the guitar, and Kid Congo Powers, he would later join Kid Congo Powers would later join also the Gun Club, and also Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds. And talking of the Gun Club, well, here is the Gun Club, the Las Vegas story. A milestone in my music listening and one of my favorite albums ever and in my record collection. Really nice album. In the band, Jeffrey Lee Pierce, rest in peace my boy, Kid Congo Powers, who was playing also so in the Cramps before. We have Terry Graham, and on the bass Patricia Morrison. Patricia Morrison, who would go to the Sisters of Mercy afterwards. Then garage rock from Sweden, the Nomads, really great band. This is the mini album Temptation Pays Double. I saw the Nomads in '92 in Brussels. I have a CD signed by Nick Valberg, signed my CD also with a message, take care, look, or something he said. And really nice band. They do also on this album is the cover of Alex Chilton, Bangkok. They do that track, really nice. And then also really nice, we have Iggy and the Stooges, Raw Power. This is a remake, it's a double album. This is a repress, but I had the original album in some time ago, and also I had Funhouse. I regret that I sold those two, but I have already Raw Power back. Really nice. I like that song, I Need Somebody. That's really very sensitive and very nice. Iggy and the Stooges. Iggy of the Stooges would later on go solo in the 70s with the help of his good friend, and he would go further as Iggy Pop. This is the real great album, Instinct of Iggy Pop. Cold Metal. I like that track very much. He made the music with Steve Jones, indeed, Steve Jones of the Sex Pistols. He produced this album also from Iggy Pop. Instinct, really good. And then The Fall, This Nation's Saving Grace. It's from 1985 and my favorite The Fall album. There is one track on it, Gut of the Quantifier, and that you must turn up full force. That's really fantastic track. And on this album there is also the nice track LA, and they do also a cover of Victoria, from the Kings. I think Marky Smith, rest in peace my boy, he was also a big fan of the Kings, and the Kings, that is also a band I am interested now in listening to the Kings and so on. I will certainly buy records of the Kings in the future. They made really nice things. Really a band also to discover. Then we have here the Jimi Hendrix Experience. This is a remake, let's say. It's exclusively remastered on 180 grams. It's all analog mastering from the original monophonic music tapes, master tapes. So really nice. The Jimi Hendrix Experience, Are You Experience, their debut album. I found it one of the best albums ever. Really, really great. Then an album that I recommend also is The Who and Tommy from the musical, and they made also a record, and really interesting and really great music. I think this song is also from this album. I Can See for Miles and See Me, Feel Me. Really wonderful, The Who. And then I have Cream, the top band with Eric Clapton. This is a full album, I Feel Free, with great tracks on it. Really, Sunshine of Your Love is also on this one, and the track also, I Feel Free, really, really great. And then Roxy Music, also a band I like very much, and I recommend this album. It's a live album, VIVA. There is really a nice song on it. In Every Dream Home a Heartache. I think it's that song that's really extraordinary on this album. Really, really great. Also the beginning track, Out of the Blue, and Both Ends Burning, also on this album. Really, really great. Roxy Music. And then we had the end of the 80s, the beginning of the 90s. There was a electronic body movement in Belgium with some bands like this one, Vomito Negro, a really nice maxi. I had it, sold it, and then I sold it back. I found it back some years ago. Save the World, or last year I found it back. Then we have here Insects, Dreamscape. Insects was also Mario Varewijk of Insect. Ja, was Mario Varewijk, also Erik van Wontergem. Erik van Wontergem, he is also the half of Absolute Body Control. They do now again since a long time concerts. They will do again concerts also, Absolute Body Control, but this was his previous projects. Insect, I prefer Insect because it's more electronic and also has some aggression in it. It has power in it, and his singing is really really special. So check it out if you can find this album on YouTube. It's really, really nice, the music. And then also one of those Keystone records, that's Throbbing Gristle, and they bring you 20 jazz funk greats. And yes, maybe in the beginning all the people, they rushed, all those jazz freaks, they rushed to the shop, they saw that and they bought it, but it was no jazz, of course, on this album. It was experimental music, but really, really nice tracks on it. My favorite is High on the Heels of Love. I think it's called like that. Really, really nice. We have also one of those tracks that are Persuasion, yes, and What a Day. You can find it. From price, it's 25 euros plus minus, so it's more the higher price, not one from 5 euro or 10 euro. You will, if you can find it for 10 euro, certainly buy it. And then we close the show with one Genesis P. Orridge. He was the leader of Psychic TV. That's the next. There is a link, so with Throbbing Gristle. The next record, GODSTAR, really wonderful track. Check it out on YouTube. Psychic TV, GODSTAR. It's about Brian Jones. He sings in it. So Brian Jones, they took his fame, and it's all about the story that Mick Jagger and Keith Richards, they turned away from a bit from Brian Jones, and he was the fifth wheel on the wagon at one moment, Brian Jones. And so I have seen the story about Brian Jones, and I think Brian Jones was murdered. One of the friends of Keith Richards, of one of the, in the circle of friends of Keith Richards and Mick Jagger, they have drowned him, Brian Jones, into his swimming pool. So really a sad story. I found from GODSTAR this vinyl, this picture disc, really nice. The same record, is the same record, music 100% the same, but this is the picture disc. Really nice, with Brian Jones. Rest in peace, my boy. You were the best Rolling Stone, the most talented Rolling Stone. Because also Rolling Stones would never have become so big if they had not started off with Brian Jones. Brian Jones was really the guiding spirit, the guiding man of the Rolling Stones. He was a multi-instrumentalist. He played several instruments. I thought this was the last record, but no, this is the last record. Ken and Iggy Bamyashi, limited edition, a green vinyl. This is a repress, but they go rather high, more than 20 or 22 euros. I paid this record, but it's really, really nice. I like Ken. I discovered them last year. I bought this record, I think, yes. Ken, also one of the big bands of the krautrock movement. That was the name they called it, krautrock. It was in the 70s in Germany. You had also Neu, a really, really good rhythmic music. Check them out, Neu and Ken, on YouTube. Really nice music, krautrock. The records are really expensive, rather expensive, but you can find compilations with krautrock music, and there have a more reasonable price. So the compilations of krautrock, ask for it in your record shop. I think in Europe you will find more krautrock, I think, than in America. I can be wrong, but I think so. So ask for it, compilations of krautrock. You can check it also on Discogs or on YouTube. You will certainly find some nice compilations. So I hope you liked it. My musical milestones, my favorite records that I listen to. Which is your favorite record that you saw here? Maybe you have a story about some of the records or some of the groups I have let show to you. So let me know something here beneath my video. Thanks for watching, and you see me in the next video. Bye bye. Have a nice week.